Good evening. Welcome to Supper with Steph and Suki Brewster. So today we're going to do quite a lot. We've got some ultimate burgers. We've got a vegetarian black bean and beetroot burger. And we've got some lovely sweet potato fries. So we've got a lot to do. At first, wash hands. Let's go wash our hands. So we've all got clean hands before we start, and the first thing we're going to do today is the sweet potato fries. So we've preheated the oven to 200 degrees. If you've got a fan oven, you might need to turn it down slightly, depending on what your oven is. So we start off with a sweet potato. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this sweet potato, and then we're going to cut it into 1/4 inch wide strips, just like what we've done earlier.
Try not to get them mixed up with carrots. I did think they were carrots at first, I have to say. Try not to get them
these are really, really healthy for you.
Are they quite hard to chop though?
They are quite hard, so just be careful when you are chopping these that you don't actually cut your fingers. So if you do need somebody to help you...
They're harder than normal potatoes, aren't they?
They are, yes. Yeah. Yes, they're quite fibrous, as you can see. So what we're going to do is just cut them into chunks. And as you can see, they are quite difficult to cut. So basically, get a slice like that. And we're going to cut some nice chunks. And that's what we're aiming for. Some nice little fingers there. So what you do with them then is you need to soak them, and that is to get rid of the starch in them, because we want them to be nice and crispy when they've cooked. So what I've done earlier, I've put some into some water, and if you do it for about 30 minutes, or you can do it overnight. So it's one of these things, and you can see the starch in the water. It makes
the water a bit cloudy, doesn't it?
It does. So like you said, so that's why we're doing it. So once it's soaked, I'm just going to wipe my tablecloth. Once it's soaked, we've got to dry it thoroughly. And what I've done, I've put it into a towel and I've allowed it to dry.
Okay,
so as you can see,
nice and dry.
Yeah. So if you want to tip them out of the, no, we just tip them out of the tea towel. There we are. So we need to first put a little bit of oil in. Now be careful you don't put too much oil in, because what we want is a really crisp product. So we want to put a little bit of oil in so to stop them from sticking, but not too much. So it's only a couple of tablespoons.
And the point of putting the oil in is so that when we put the powders in, they stick to the sweet potatoes.
That's right, yeah. Because we're going to coat these sweet potato fries to make them even more delicious.
That's about right, Steph?
That's absolutely lovely.
Okay.
So we just give them a quick mix.
Oh, you want me to get my hands dirty now, don't you?
Definitely.
Okay.
So they're all mixed, and then we're going to add to them is 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. So we've measured these out earlier on, and we've got 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. If you add them all to add them together, because it's usually easier if we make a paste up. So we've got.
So you don't get bits of.
Yeah, so you have paprika. So if you mix all the powders
so
together.
Putting the garlic powder in with the paprika.
Yeah, so we've got paprika, garlic powder.
Yep.
1/2 teaspoon of black pepper.
Black pepper.
Yeah. And then if we can have 2 teaspoons of corn flour. Now the corn flour makes the sweet potatoes go crispy. Into our sweet potato fries.
Okay, so
and
just
then
like a seasoning, is it?
That's like it. And you're going to have a quick rub and try and mix them all
You
together.
want to really make sure that they all get some of it on there.
Yes, yes. So don't need to rush any of this because like you said, you know, this can be done ahead of time as long as they're dry.
Okay. I know some people are doing this while I'm doing this. I'm doing it nice and slowly, making sure we're really mixed.
Right, so then they go onto a baking tray. Now I've put parchment on mine, or you can just grease it, but obviously don't put too much grease on again because it'll make them go soggy.
Yeah.
So when
does it matter if they touch each other when you put it on, or should they be
so a single layer and not touching if possible.
Okay.
And if you've got more than one tray, put another tray on just to make sure that they're not getting.
I suppose if they're crossing over, they don't dry out properly to cook, do they?
They don't go crispy.
Yeah.
This is what we're aiming for.
Oh, sorry.
Some nice scrummy.
I'm trying not to make it too neat.
They look all right already. So I hope everyone's managing to follow along with this. Is the easy bit.
I'm finding this hard enough, Steph.
Like you said. Right.
Sorry.
So they're ready to go in the oven. Obviously be careful because the oven is extremely hot, and they go in the oven for 15 minutes and then we're going to turn them over. So obviously just be really careful. And I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes. Right, and off they go. The next thing we're going to manage to do is we're going to have a go at making a vegetable burger. It's a recipe we use for our vegetarians. So we've done this before. So it's a black bean and beetroot burger. So you can get the black bean in tins in the supermarket, and just need to drain them just to take away the water that they're soaked in. So that's 2 tins of black beans.
Okay, and is that that's the basis of the burger, isn't it?
It's lots of protein in here, and it also has lots of fibre and things, so it's really nutritious, this is. So what we're going to add to this is 1 red onion. So I'm going to chop this quickly.
Could you use any different beans if you wanted to?
Yes.
Yep.
Any bean that will break up so that you get the consistency the same. So the black-eyed beans work, I've used them before.
Yep. Things like cannoli beans and things like that. Could you use those kind of things?
Yeah, they're excellent because, like you said, beans are really nutritious.
And it's the thing that binds it together, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. So to be careful when you're cutting, make sure your fingers are away, and it's just very, very small you need to do. Now,
when you're chopping, you keep your nails, don't you, to protect?
Yeah. If you can keep your nails back, and there you are. So I'm not going to be too careful with this because we're going to put it into a food processor. But I'm just going to chop it up a little bit.
If you don't have a food processor, what would you do then?
So we could grate it with a grater. So I've done that before.
Yeah.
Or you could just finely chop it, little
so
bit by little bit.
Would you use this kind of the bigger bit?
You need the big thing.
I'm sure it's a technical term, but the bigger bit. I know what I'm doing.
The cheese grater bit.
Yeah.
So we've got a red onion, and we've got the 2 tins of black beans, and then we're going to have 100 grams of cooked rice, which we've done earlier on.
Yeah, we did pre-cook this, didn't we? So
it's pre-cooked rice, yeah.
Okay.
2 small beetroots. We're not going to put that in because we're going to add that at the end because we're going to mix these 2 together. So the beetroot as well.
Yep.
So we've got beetroot, a tablespoon of tomato puree.
Okay.
And it's either I'm going to use a mushroom sauce with mine.
Okay.
But you can use hot sauce, or you could use sweet chili sauce, or you could use tomato ketchup.
Okay. So
It's
depending
a
on your
flavour.
what flavour you like.
Yeah, so we're going to use some of this. It's just
this is
something,
This is
a
a
mushroom.
vegan mushroom pate, isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay.
And we're also going to add soya sauce, onion powder. So we've got some soya sauce over there. And some onion powder, which is all to add flavour. And then some 50 grams of fine breadcrumbs and some salt and pepper.
That was 2 lots of 25. There was a reason for that. And salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shall we start then? So the first job we're going to do is we're going to blend the beans in my blender. And I'm going to put my onion into it as well.
Okay, so if you're doing it by your hand, you just mix it.
So you need to break the skins so that they hold together.
Okay,
Because
so
if you don't,
mash it
yes, mash it. A
with
fork
a potato masher
or
or
potato
something?
masher. Yeah, these are quite sort of hard to mash, so I think a food processor would be easier.
A good idea, yeah.
So we'll put them in.
I'm pleased you're not making me do that.
So you can grate your beetroot or just put it in. And
It's
we
going to be
will.
a very good red colour, isn't it?
I love red. I love red.
Okay.
So like I said, I've got my tomato puree going in. And if I can have some of the mushroom.
Okay. How much mushroom did you need?
So it's about a tablespoon of mushroom.
Measure.
But it's all to taste. You know, if you like the taste, then you can obviously add more of things.
I mean, I could do what I do when I'm normally cooking and kind of, it's about a tablespoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, if
Okay.
you like it, add it. And then I'm going to mix this a little bit.
So what sort of consistent, is it like a paste?
So we want
it's
to
still
just
quite rough. Is
try,
that okay?
yeah, we just want to try and get it so it's not broken down completely, but it's sticky, so it sticks together and holds as a burger.
Okay. Because we've still got the drier ingredients to add yet,
Yeah.
haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So we'll use this bowl that it went into. Could you get a spoon out of the drawer in front of you, please? Just one of them will do.
Oh, very
We'll
well.
have a big spoon.
Okay.
So as you can see, the consistency is a bit sticky, but it will hold all the burgers together.
And presumably, probably best at this time to not actually do it by hand. Do your hands get very stained with that?
No, it shouldn't do,
Shouldn't it?
unless it's raw beetroot, and then it would.
Which
But
is
that
in
was
there.
a cooked beetroot.
Ah, I see.
Add the rice, the breadcrumbs.
So I am adding, let me see, what was it? 100 grams of the cooked rice. Remember, it has got to be cooked. Otherwise, that's going to be very hard in your burger. And the onion powder. Just checking how much onion powder. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. That looks like
That
a lot.
wouldn't measure it.
That will be why. That was a good job. I thought that looks more than a tablespoon. That would be very
Yeah, we
oniony.
didn't measure that one.
Right. So 1 tablespoon of onion powder. That looks a bit better. That would have been a little bit oniony, I think. Okay, and salt and pepper just to taste.
Salt and pepper just to taste. Like I said, you've got lots of flavour in here already, and with having soya sauce in, that's quite salty.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So you don't want to make it too salty, so just put a little bit in.
Okay. A little bit of pepper. A little bit more, probably 2 pinches of pepper and 1 of salt.
Yeah. I mean, I like the pepper taste, but like I said, you add it to your own flavour.
Yes, I'm not that keen on the pepper taste, so we'll go with the middle.
So have we done the soy sauce?
We haven't. Nope. So that is
1 tablespoon of soy sauce.
just
Get rid of that one, and that one.
Okay, so 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And as you say, that is quite salty, so definitely don't overdo that, yeah?
Yeah, definitely don't.
Okay.
So all this is mixed together with the breadcrumbs, and that's the final stage. Do you want to add the breadcrumbs?
Yeah, because it doesn't look like it's going to hold together without these, actually, I think.
But the other tip is as well, you can put it in. The other tip is if they're having problems sticking, if you put them in the fridge, they tend to the breadcrumbs will absorb all the juices and will hold it and bind it together. Now there's no egg in this to hold it when it's cooking.
Because usually when I make burgers at home, I have to say it's the egg yolk that holds it together, but there's no egg in this because it's a vegan burger, is there? So
yeah, there's no egg in it, so
it still looks quite.
It is
wet,
really
but,
lovely.
You're going to get me to make them, aren't you?
Would you mind?
I wouldn't. I have been many colours today, but your class will tell me that my class will tell you that I was green this morning. So
all right.
I was a witch this morning.
All right.
So, yeah, purple, green. Let's go. So, am I making these by hand?
So if we do 1 or 2 by hand,
Okay.
and I've got a burger press, and I thought we could show how they
I
look.
don't have a burger press at home, so I'm used to just making them by hand, I have to say. Okay, so you can just mould it by hand. I'm sure Steph's will look an awful lot nicer than my one by hand, but
It might break up, you see, we just don't tempt fate, especially when I'm cooking.
no, you need to think about how big the bun is that you're going to put it in. I think that is possibly about right.
See, looks already delicious.
Yours might look a bit more professional, but perhaps maybe not as homemade.
I'm going to say is how you like it. I mean, these can be put in the fridge and served later, but like you said, at the moment...
Yeah, if you put them in the fridge, the greaseproof paper is a brilliant idea because you can stack them and they don't stick together, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's our burgers, and we're going to put them into the oven to cook for a few minutes. So they will go in, and they take about 15 minutes in total. And our sweet potato fries are looking delicious.
Do you need to turn the sweet potato fries or do they just cook as they
So
are?
we're doing 15 minutes and then we're going to turn them.
Okay.
So if we have a quick clear down before we start again, if you just bear with us, I'll give this everything a wash. Yes, so, and I think we'll put one in as well. Do you want to put a burger in that we made earlier?
I think so. Okay, so before we came live, we actually did make some of the meat version, the ultimate burgers, only because we wanted to show you what it looked like cooked rather than standing around and waiting. So I'm just going to put one made with the burger press in and one handmade one. We're just going to put those, they're cooking at the same time as the vegan burgers, but we're going to make one with you as well in a minute. Okay.
Is that the way?
How do I shut that?
It just clicks. Oh,
It does if you're used to it.
So now we're on to our beef burgers. So hands washed again to make sure that we've start off with a clean side. And just wipe down where we've been working.
Okay.
And we're ready to start with the beef burgers, I hope. So these burgers, you can decide if you would like to do a beef burger or a beef and pork burger or a beef and chicken burger. What meat you add together is up to you and what you like. All add different flavours to it.
And different, I mean, I find a pork burger or pork and half burger a lot lighter than a beef burger.
That's right, yeah.
But my boys prefer beef burger, so it's
Yeah.
taste and sort of texture, isn't it, as well?
So yeah, so what we did, we've got 450 grams of mince, and we're going to add to that some I think we need to fry the onions first as well, don't we?
Yes, we do. Shall I put the
Yeah, put your mince into there.
first?
I'll get rid of
Okay.
that.
Right. Now, as we were talking when we were practicing, I did burn the onions, so this time I'm going to be a bit more gentle when I'm frying my onions.
So the onions, we need 1 red onion chopped up finely, and you're going to need half an apple, which I'm going to cut.
So this is 1 red onion all chopped, isn't it?
1 red onion chopped up, and then it's going to add the apple to it.
Okay, but I cook the onion first and then add the apple a little bit later, don't I?
Yeah.
Otherwise the apple will overcook.
So I'm going to grate my apple. What makes lots of noise?
Okay, Mr. Meadows is not frowning at you. It can't be too bad, the sound.
Right, so that's my half of apple. And that will also add a little bit of natural sweetness to it.
We haven't had any questions again, Steph.
We've got no questions.
So I hope we're going slightly slower for you all today as well.
Yes, definitely. We tend to go too fast. So
How does everyone feel about different meats in their burgers? It'd be nice to know if people prefer beef or pork or chicken. What do they feel? Right, I'm watching this time, Steph. I am not going to burn the onions. I'm doing it nice and gently.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to chop up some garlic. Now, obviously, if you don't like garlic, you don't need to add it. It's one of those things that the flavours that you like, you can add to this. So, you know, this is down to you and what you like. And if you like chilli seeds, you can add it to it. Let me just go and get a...
What's really nice when you make a burger as well, Steph, isn't it? Is when you make your own relishes and things. I know we haven't today, you know, we have enough to do today. It's a bit complicated, but it's really nice. And you could make relishes sort of beforehand, couldn't you? You could make them the day, week before, keep them. But homemade relish for the burger is really nice as well, isn't it?
And that's our posh ovens just saying that we need to turn over these sweet potatoes. So I'm going to move that to one side.
Right, my onion has gone slightly translucent, so it's just changing colour slightly. So I think now is about the right time to add the apple, would you?
Yes, yeah. If you wouldn't mind, just watch with the hot tray.
I will, thank you. And because the apple's grated, I presume it cooks quite quickly because it's grated, does it, Steph?
Yep. There you are, that looks lovely.
Do I add the garlic now as well?
No. No, the garlic goes in raw.
That's close. Thank you.
Right, I'm going to turn these over. Can I just get a...
Of course you can.
Right. So these are looking really nice. They're already slightly crispy. We've got a catering oven, so things do cook a bit faster than they do at home. So don't worry if yours are not looking like this.
And they really don't look greasy, actually, do they? They do. They look good.
They do look rather yummy. So I'm going to put them back in. And they go back in. I think it won't need another 15 minutes because I think they're going to be cooked soon.
Yeah, they look pretty well done, actually. As you say, that's quicker than ovens at home, isn't it? A little bit.
They are. It's just because they're industrial ovens.
Right, my apple is now getting a bit softer and my onions look...
Right, so what you would do at home is you would chill that so that you're not starting to cook your meat, but we haven't got time to do that.
Okay.
So we're going to add it to our...
Our meat is very chilled, so it will cool this down, won't it? So I just put it straight in?
Yep, put it in.
Okay.
And I wouldn't normally chop garlic with a small knife, but I can't find my big knife, so it's normal. Did I put it in here? No. So I'm just going to add this garlic, but please chop it up a bit finer when you're at home. And the next thing we need to do is some thyme. This is fresh thyme. And when you get fresh thyme, which is a beautiful smell,
So you just pull it off.
so you
the
pull it
kind of
off
strip.
the steak because the stems are really woody and they're not very nice texture-wise. So you just pull them off.
Mhm.
And then I have to gonna get a big knife because
And again, could you use different herbs if you wanted a different kind of flavour?
you certainly can. You could use sage, you could use parsley, coriander, anything that you've got at hand. If anyone's got growing in their gardens. And it's how much you add as well to this, is to the flavour. Because obviously, you know, can you smell? It's quite
lovely.
a strong aromatic flavour.
It is.
So we need half a teaspoon of Dijon, and I'll go and get a knife and an egg.
You've got a half teaspoon measure if I put it somewhere.
Egg.
Now, did she say half a teaspoon? I think she did. Yeah, half a teaspoon of mustard. And I'm presuming you could, I'll check with Steph, but you could use whole grain mustard or French mustard. Okay, so that's half of the teaspoon there. So Steph, I was just saying that I presume you can use different types of mustard if you want to. You could use French mustard, whole grain mustard.
Yeah, and if
Really
you don't like
taste.
mustard, you don't need to add it. It's just all about flavour.
Yeah.
And I tried these at the weekend and they were really nice. Everyone commented how tasty they were.
Yeah. I mean, the smell is lovely, certainly. If we're working off smell, we'll be happy.
So, I'm going to chop this. Be careful of your fingers, and I should have done this with the garlic.
If I was chopping, it wouldn't look quite so professional, I have to say.
We do chop a lot of
You're going
herbs
to need
here.
me to do the mixing again, aren't you? I
Yes,
can feel
please.
it coming this way.
So make sure you've got clean hands for the next stage because we need to get your hands into the bowl and mix it all up.
Yeah, they
So
are
this
gonna have
is
to do
all the herbs. We've got 1 egg yolk.
Okay. And again, as we said, the egg yolk is to bind it all together.
That's
So
right.
it doesn't need to be broken, you just put it in whole.
You put it in because you're going to mix it with your hands.
Thank you very much. The
So-
things I do.
So we've got some Henderson's relish, which is the same as Worcester sauce, but it hasn't got the fish in it.
Okay.
So
So
it's a
if you were doing
similar
the
type of
Vegan,
thing.
vegetarian thing.
It's a different. I'm going to just put a few drops because I do like it.
Yeah, there's anchovies, aren't there, in Worcester sauce?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, am I ready to mix?
So you've got
Oh, salt,
breadcrumbs and some seasoning.
pepper. Okay, and again, salt and pepper, depending on how much you like.
And we're going to do half a stock cube. Now I've put a vegetable one in because I like the taste of vegetables, but you can put beef flavour in, or if you've put pork in it, you can put a pork one in. It's up to you. It's
and again,
all
that's just about flavouring, isn't it?
definitely about flavour.
Now again, a stock cube is quite salty, isn't it?
They're not as salt as they used to be, but yes, they do contain salt.
Okay, so just not too heavy on
Yeah.
the salt, perhaps just the flavouring.
And if you're not sure of your seasoning, you can always fry a tiny bit in a pan
Oh, that's
to
a good
cook
idea.
it.
Yeah.
And then what you would do, then you could see if you needed more seasoning or if
Okay.
your flavourings were right.
That's a good idea, because sometimes you
So-
don't want to make a whole batch not
Yeah.
seasoned well, do you?
Yeah,
So,
so that's
good
that.
idea.
So in here we've got the meat, we've got onion, apple, stock cube, Worcester sauce, garlic, thyme, mustard, egg and seasoning. So I think we're
Check.
ready
I think
now.
we're done.
We're ready.
Okay.
So if I clear this side
Let's
off,
mix now.
if you wouldn't mind mixing.
Okay. It is a bit messy, it has to be said. Even for me working in pre-prep, it's still a bit messy. Now, so you could, when you've made this mixture, Steph, you could leave it to chill, couldn't you? When you've made your burgers, do you chill it before you've made the burgers or after?
So I would chill it, because what the chilling will do will allow the flavours to marinate the meat and make it more tasty.
Yeah.
So I would always leave it for a while, but obviously we can't do that at the moment.
Yeah.
But like I said, at home, put it in the fridge and let it chill, and it also firms the burgers up, so they're
Okay,
easier
yeah.
to fry.
That's it set a bit. So you want to really make sure you get all the powder, the kind of flavouring part mixed in.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do.
She does worry me when she starts to walk off. Don't leave me. Right, still mixing.
So, the fun bit. Shall I use a gadget and you do your patties again?
To be honest, I've already got hands full of mixture, so I might as well make a hand mixture, I think.
Would you put some in there for me then, please?
I will. Do you pack it quite tightly or quite loosely?
Yeah, I would pack it tightly because it's going to be squashed, because
Okay.
this is what it does. It squashes it so it binds it together.
Happy with
Put
that?
a circle on. Now, if you haven't got one of these at home, you don't really need them. Like you say, you can make your own, and they look and taste just as lovely. But like I said, they just make it look a bit.
I think I actually preferred the homemade look.
Yeah.
I think when you go to a restaurant, I always think, oh, that's a proper burger if it looks like it's been made by hand.
Exactly. It looks like somebody's took care about it.
Nobody's going to go, ooh, no, that's not very nice. I can
So, finish off all your burgers. Now you can make them. It should make 6 burgers, but it depends how big you make them, how fat you make them. So you should get 6 burgers out of this. Obviously, I don't know if we are.
No, I've just cut down slightly. There we go. I have grown-up boys who eat a lot, so perhaps I've got used to big portions.
So what I'm going to do is I shall get a bowl, clean up, and then we can take the things out of the oven and we can have a look at them.
Excellent. I'll just make those into burgers. I mean, it doesn't actually matter the varying size, does it, Steph? She says.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I suppose it doesn't matter too much of the varying size, just that if you make them bigger, obviously they're going to take just a slight longer to cook, aren't they? So you don't want.
Yeah, so you're
a
trying
massive
to make them
difference, yeah.
even so they all cook at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is the ideal scenario.
Yeah, 6 burgers.
There we are. They look lovely. So, quick tidy up.
Just going to wash my hands again. Sorry.
Thank you there. So, should we have a look what... So, the sweet potato fries. They're done. The vegetable burgers. And our ultimate burgers. So, we should be able to put them together
Okay.
and make
Now, obviously, the people at home, their ones might still be cooking, but we're just going to show you how you could put them on a plate. I'm not going to get both on there, am I? One on there, one on there. See that?
and do.
Okay. Now, we prepared a few things for garnishing the plates beforehand, didn't we? So
We
do you want
did,
to talk
yeah.
through what you've done?
So I've toasted the burger buns. I've done some nice lettuce. We've done some tomato, some gherkins. We've got a relish and some cheese. You can add whatever you like to it, mayonnaise, anything you like, tomato ketchup. So if we start building, so what do you fancy? Are you having a beef burger or a vegetarian one?
Oh, I don't mind. I think I will have a bit of the vegan burger.
Yeah. So we're going to start with some lettuce, do you think?
I think so. I think that's always a nice base, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lettuce.
There we are.
Okay.
I should take this one out of the way.
I think I might put a piece of tomato on the top. Shall I do? Yeah, I'm going to not put cheese on it because I'm going to keep it as a vegan burger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we put the lid on, and we do one of these tricks, and then we need to, once your sweet potato fries have chilled, they come out the oven and stood for a few minutes, you can put a little bit of salt on, just so that it stops them from going crispy if you don't, if you put them on too soon. So a few sweet potato fries, and they look very crispy.
Pickles on the side.
And that's the vegetarian one. And shall we do the ultimate burger?
Yep. Right, so I'm going to put some lettuce. Now, because these are beef, you don't have to worry too much if they're cooked right through. They can still be a little bit pink, can't they?
No.
No?
No, because they're mincemeat, you have to cook them all the way through.
Okay.
If it was a solid piece of meat, it's different.
Yep.
But a minced product should be cooked all the way through.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you. A little bit of relish on that one, I think.
That looks lovely.
And then I'm going to have a little bit of cheese on top of that one. Putting the relish down.
Lid on.
And then the sticks. Where do you buy these sticks from, Steph? Can you just buy them?
So the supermarkets sell them now.
Do they?
So yeah, I mean...
They're quite a good thing, aren't they? I have to say, how many times I've tried to eat a burger and it's all just slid away from me. Excellent.
So today we've done sweet potato fries with a black bean and beetroot burger, and we've done a ultimate burger, which could be beef, pork, chicken, or a mixture of all of them. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a lot to take in, and you know, it's been very much fun for us.
It has.
Yeah, we're learning all the time.
We are. Oh yes.
Hear me without a microphone to put my mask on, but I just want to say a huge thank you to Mrs. Brewster, Mr. Meadows behind the camera,
Definitely.
and of course to Steph for monitoring the whole thing. And we've just got a few flowers to take. Thank you for cheering us up during lockdown.
Well done,
Oh,
Steph.
thank you very much. Thank you ever so much.
It has been a lot of work. Well done, Steph.
Oh, no, thank you everyone.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. I shall, they're very kind. Thank you. I don't know if you can see them. How beautiful.
Lovely, aren't they? Excellent. Thank you.